Hey guys, Kimmy Vapes here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be vaping a little pod device. This is the IQ 3 seconds. Let's have a vape on it, go down below and see what comes with it. Okay, and here it is, the IQ, a refillable pod system by Hangsen. Now, the company that sent this over to me for the purpose of this review was Jasper Technologies, which I believe is a U.S. subsidiary of Hangsen company, which is based out of China. So here is the packaging. On the front of the packaging, you have a picture of the device. Flipping it over here, you'll see it says Vape Smart, Vape IQ. Then on the back, we have a bunch of information. So the specifications, it says the resistance is 2 ohms, voltage 3.7 volts. The battery is 400 milliamp hours, color white. Charging is micro USB DC 5 volt. Max charging current is 800 milliamp hours. And then the package contents, 1 battery, 1 empty pod, a filling bottle, and the micro USB magnetic cable. Designed in the US, manufactured in China. And then of course it has the company's information. The US center is Hangsen USA. Email and website, which is www.ivapiq.com. And then you have some warnings. And I also noted that on my box in particular, it has a added sticker that says resistance 1.5 ohms. So what I'm assuming is that the 2 ohm is either a misprint, and instead of making all new packaging for the misprint, they just added a little sticker down there letting you know that the actual resistance is 1.5 ohms. Okay, let's go ahead and open up the box. So when you open up the box, you'll see your device on the top. Now my device has a pod installed, and that is because I have been using it. However, when you receive your device and you open it for the first time, the device will be on the top with no pod inserted. And then when you lift up this portion, you'll have your pod, which lays in here empty, and it will have this little plastic mouth guard. So you get your 1 pod device, a little cautionary card, and a IQ user guide. Now the user guide is very simple. To use the device, you'll remove the protective rubber cap from the pod, which is this right here. Remove the bottom rubber filling plug from the pod, which is this little red gasket right here. Fill the pod with your favorite e-liquid. Insert the pod into the battery until it is secure. You will hear a slight click and the screen will turn on automatically. So we'll put the little pod in, and you hear that little click and the screen comes on. The device is draw activated, so to use the device, once you've filled your pod and placed the pod in the device and let it soak up the e-liquid, then you can go ahead and take a puff. Your screen will light up every time you take a draw. When the screen will flash multiple times, that's signaling that you need to charge your device. And what's nice about this device is that it does have a battery indicator. So every time you take a puff, it will show you how much battery life is currently left. My battery is currently at 80%. This device does also support pass-through vaping. So while you have your USB connected and are charging the device, you can also use the device, which is a really big plus. So here is the magnetic USB charger. Just a simple USB charging cable. And then of course, here is your needle tip bottle. It is a safety bottle, so you'll have to push down and turn to open. And then it has a nice little needle tip there for filling your pod. This bottle holds 5 ml of e-liquid. So once the device is fully charged, the screen will blink 5 times and then it will turn dark. Very simple, very sleek, elegant device. This is made of plastic on the front and the back, and the sides are a painted or brushed aluminum. Here on the bottom you can see there are ventilation holes as well as your micro USB charging port. Here's the back of the device, which does have a window which is really not visible. With the pod inserted, I can't really see into that window. I'm assuming because when you take the pod out, then you can sort of see the light pass through. I'm assuming that that's maybe a e-liquid level indicator, but to be completely honest, I cannot see in that little window. Once the pod is inserted, because there is no light, there isn't another window on the other side to allow light to come through. Once you insert your pod, you really can't see in that window at all. So I like the idea that they wanted to include a window, but if they were going to include a window for looking at the e-liquid level, they should have included it on both sides so that you can actually hold the device up to the light and see the e-liquid level in your pod. So for me, the way that I check my e-liquid is I just grab it, pull it up, look at it, and place it back into the device, which isn't really a big deal. So that is the IQ by Hangsen. Let's go back up top, vape on it, and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions. Okay, so that was an up and close look of the IQ 3 Seconds by Hangsen. So what are my thoughts? Well, I gotta say, this has been one of the pod devices that is in my purse every day. And I gotta be honest, it's not even because of how well it vapes. It's just because I really like the look of it. Of course, I have an Apple iPhone and it's white and gold, and this one's white and silver. And I gotta say, I just like the matchiness of it, the sleekness of it. I think this is one of those devices where it definitely catches the eye as far as you look at it and you're like, wait, what is that? Is that an iPod? Is it an MP3 player? Is it a fancy USB? What is this? And of course, we know it's a pod system, and it is a refillable pod system. So some really big pros with this IQ 3 Seconds for me is that, one, it is a refillable pod system. So the pods are fairly inexpensive. I looked online. It's like $9.99 for a 2-pack, which I feel is right in range with other pod systems of this style. It has a 400 milliamp hour battery, and it charges really fast, and it has pass-through vaping. And that's a big pro to me because it's micro USB. I have a USB cable laying around all the time for it, and I can vape on it while it's charging. I find that this thing lasts me for days on a single charge. Now keep in mind, this is a carry out device for me, so it's not something I vape a lot at home, but I take it with me in my purse whenever I go out, and it's a nice little handy stealth vape that I've really been enjoying. Now let's go into some cons of it. It is much bigger than other pod style devices like this. The fact that it is wider means that, you know, it might not be as pocket friendly for some people. It's not as stealthy, though I find I still have it pretty much concealed in my hand. Oh, and one other thing, of course, is the indicator, the puff indicator light and battery indicator light. So I really like the digital battery indicator that shows the percentage of my battery and actively shows visually when it's going down a color change in the LED there of my battery life. I think that's really nice. It's really easy to check and look and see, do I need to plug it in on my charger, or is it, you know, full enough that I can take it out with me? And if not, I can of course vape it as a pass-through in my car. But the other indicator on there, the puff indicator, it really doesn't have a lot of use. It just animates when you take a puff, but it doesn't like count your puffs or anything. So I feel like they could have done away with that and maybe made the indicator smaller on here for those that don't want to see all of that when they're vaping. The other thing that is a con for me is the window here. I think it's more of an aesthetic thing and less of a functional thing. It actually has no functionality at all because it doesn't go through to the other side. Like for example, this device, which has a window that goes through the other side and I can check my juice level, this one doesn't. So it's really pointless other than to make it look like a little phone device or something with that little window there, like I'm going to take a picture or something. As far as the quality of the device, I've had no issues with the quality. Definitely is like an aluminum material housing, and then it has these little plastic inserts that are just glued on top here, I believe, to give it that iPhone-ish tech look, which I really enjoy. I like the aesthetics of it. The pods are a little loose in there. I mean, they won't come out if I just shake it like this, but I did have an incident where I was taking it out of my purse and this part of the pod caught on the strap and the pod just went flying out on me and I had to go track down the pod. So I feel like the pods could have been held in there a little bit tighter maybe, but I'm not going to rate it as a con because it does stay in and I have no problems with connections or anything like that. As far as vaping on the pods, they are refillable and I've refilled this one 2 times now and it's almost due for a refill again and it's still going strong. The coil is lasting. And of course the battery, I've recharged the battery, I believe. I charged it twice and then I put it on the charger at halfway. So 2.5 times I've charged the battery and I've filled it twice. So definitely I'm enjoying the device. The pricing that I've seen online is like $50, I think, and $40 or $50, which I think is a little high for the pod device. I think that for those that really like the visual aesthetics of it, they may be willing to spend that $40 price tag. But when you're trying to compare with other pod devices of, you know, that are refillable and are pass-through, this one is a little pricey for what I consider to be a good device for a starter or someone who is looking to quit smoking. It does have a looser mouth to lung draw and a more of a very, very restricted direct lung draw. So direct lung, really satisfying. A lot of vapor for a little pod device like this on a direct lung draw. And then very loose mouth to lung draw. So I find with the mouth to lung draw, I like to take I like to take 2 or 3 draws off the device to feel satiated. Not a lot of throat hit in this one. I am running the Dinner Lady Nick salts. I have the Vape Dinner Lady Lemon Tart Salt Nick in here. And I gotta say, the Dinner Lady Salt Nick tastes awesome in this device. And it's a 35 milligram salt nick, and I gotta say there's not really any throat hit to this, so that could be a con to people who just quit smoking and want a pod device that has a bit of a throat hit. I don't get a lot of throatiness from this device, and that's probably why I like it, because I've not been a smoker for over 3 years. I vape a lot of sub-ohm tanks and RDAs, and they don't really have any throat hit. So the fact that this doesn't makes it really enjoyable for me and a super sleek, stylish pocket device. So that's my thoughts on the IQ 3 Seconds by Hangsen. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not already, hit that subscribe button. If you are subscribed, please don't forget to hit the little bell notification icon so you get notified the next time I upload a video. Thanks for watching, you guys. Bye-bye.